Mrs. Priske. This is Culinary Basics, and this is your students' Period 5 class. And this is a very basic culinary arts class. It's kind of an introduction to cooking and measuring and safety and knife skills and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to walk through our syllabus here. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is how to stay connected with our culinary arts. First of all, contact information for me. Anytime you need to get in touch with me, my email is listed there right here. And then we also have a culinary arts Instagram page that our other culinary arts teacher, Mrs. Griffin, runs. And so you can log into that. You can see what's happening. Once we start cooking, we'll be posting pictures of cooking and that sort of stuff. We also have a YouTube channel where I will house a lot of our demo videos and things like that. And then also the teacher websites. Okay. Every day, it's expected of your student to log into Zoom, the class periods that we have, period 5, or the days that we have period 5. And that would be on Tuesdays and Fridays at 8:30. And then also on Wednesdays. Wednesdays is it's in the middle of the day because we meet all classes, but my Zoom code is listed here and the passcode is listed there. And then also my code for Google Classroom. Google Classroom is like the hub for my class. All the information is listed there. It's very, it's listed by week 1, week 2, week 3, so on and so forth. And then I have just an informational section that has the syllabus, a copy of this syllabus, and then also my Zoom codes, and then any other important information that's there. We do have a class remind. I ask that all students join that. We haven't started using it yet, but you can have your student text that code below. They don't have to be, if for some reason your student doesn't have a cell phone, Google Classroom will be fine. But every once in a while, I will shoot out information based on the Google or the classroom remind, and it'll just be like, hey, don't forget we're making pancakes today, or don't forget we're making fettuccine Alfredo. Make sure you have this ingredient, that ingredient, or that sort of stuff. Okay. Topics that we're going to cover this semester. First of all, we're right in the middle of safety. We actually had our safety quiz today. You can ask your students how it went, but we're going to talk about kitchen safety. We're going to talk about food safety and sanitation. We're actually going to get into measuring and how to correctly measure this week as well. On Friday, we also have done some kitchen tools and learning the different types of tools and different gadgets that are in the kitchens. We have knife safety and knife skills. I will be teaching them exactly how to use certain knives, what knife is used for what recipes, and the different techniques, chopping versus slicing and dicing and all that sort of stuff. But we'll go through a whole knife safety and knife skills couple days with demos. We also will talk about nutrition and just healthy meal planning. I try to incorporate nutrition throughout the whole semester, so that's a very important part of the class. Menu planning, we'll do a whole section on menu planning and how color, taste, and texture, how all of those items affect an entire meal. And then we'll also talk about plating and presentation, because if your item doesn't look good, nobody's going to want to eat it. And so it's very important to have a good plating and good presentation knowledge as you start entering into culinary arts. We also are going to do a lot of talking about baking and just the foundations of baking, because that is really, really key. If you can learn how to be a good baker and follow that recipe exactly, you can be a good cook, right? Technology. The technology that I am using in the classroom, obviously I'm going to be using Google Classroom. If you would like to be added to that Google Classroom, just send me an email. I'll be happy to add you. We will be using Flipgrid at one point, and that's just another way to communicate and make a connection with other students in our class. Canva, which is like a digital, you can make digital presentations. Some of your students use them for our safety poster project. Also Edpuzzle and YouTube. These are ones that your students are probably very familiar with. We will use Kahoot and Quizlet from time to time, and then also Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Forms. and then also our class website. Okay. These programs should all be logged in with their Google or their school email address. Don't try to log into any of these without their school email address, because some of them will not function without their school email address. So it's very important that whenever they're doing anything for this class, that they're using their school email address through Google Classroom and that sort of thing. Okay. What to expect? I know everybody's wondering that, because how are we going to have a culinary class if we're not in the kitchens and in the labs and cooking? But in general, I'm trying to keep the class running as closely as possible to what we would have in the regular classroom. On the days that we will have a demo, so for example, one of the first things that we will cook is called vanishing rolls. It's a really simple recipe. I will send out the recipe details on Monday, and or on Tuesday. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. The lab will be on Friday, and there will always be an alternate assignment. It'll either be the cooking lab or it'll be an alternate written assignment. And either one is absolutely fine. I know that there's different circumstances and different things. Maybe you can't get the ingredients, or it's just not working for you right now, or whatever, to make the recipe in your own kitchen, and that's totally fine. But there will always be a cooking option and then a written option. And either one, it's the same amount of points, okay? We will cook probably once every other week, once a week. It just depends. We're kind of trying this out and seeing how it's going. But we're super excited to start getting into culinary and actually getting into the actual demos. We've been doing a lot of just talking about safety and sanitation, which is very important, but I think everybody's ready to jump right in and get into the actual cooking portion of the class. I promise to make sure that I am online at the beginning of each Zoom session. I will wait just a couple minutes to get all the students into the waiting room. Please make sure that they have proper Zoom etiquette, where they have their first and last name, and then their cameras must be on when I open up the Zoom. But I will be available during that whole Zoom time, even if we're doing some asynchronous teaching, which is where our cameras will be shut off. It's almost like an independent work time, maybe for 20 minutes or whatever, but I will always keep the Zoom open. We should never log off the Zoom during our class period time. I will always be open for questions through email, through the Remind app. I would love feedback if you think something's working, if your student thinks something isn't working. I love that I'm trying to be flexible here and make this work. But I think that is absolutely key, is making sure that we are being flexible and we're venturing out, trying some new things, and just seeing how all this is going to work. But I really look forward to actually seeing the students in your kitchens and cooking and things like that. As for the students, what I ask for is that they log on at the assigned times, that their screens are on. And we talked about this already, that their names are on their screen, first and last names. Please complete all assignments when they are due. I will accept late work. I'm very flexible, especially with technology and all of this distance learning. But it's really important that they try to get the work in as close to the due date as possible. Please have your students communicate me and reach out with any concerns or questions about directions, about labs, any assignments, that sort of thing. I also ask that the students be engaged and participate. I am actually breaking out the students into breakout rooms, and this is going to be their lab group, as if they were going to be in the kitchens here at school. And so they will be in a group with about 4 or 5 other students, and that will be their lab group that they work with on different projects and things throughout the semester. Okay. Parents, please help your child create a good learning environment, especially when we're on Zooms. Make sure they have a good workspace, a place that's separate from where they would relax or something like that. You can check their progress in Infinite Campus. I will update that as often as I can. And then just spend time in discussing with your child the importance of academic integrity, responsible technology use, and then just effective communication and constant communication with all of their teachers and myself. I do really stress academic integrity. I know that it's hard online. I have to just let it go and just hope that the kids are doing their best. And this class is mostly group work anyways, so I'm not super concerned about that. And like, we just took our safety quiz, and that was a Google form, so it was totally they were able to work on their own and that sort of thing. So that is about it for Culinary. Again, if you need to get in touch with me, tpriske@heartdistrict.org. Any questions, any concerns, please let me know. One last thing that I don't think I covered. I do ask that when the students are completing a lab, if they do complete the lab portion of it, that there's a parent around, a parent home, or a supervised adult, if possible, just for safety reasons. And that's it. I hope everyone is doing well. I really miss having students here on campus. This is definitely made for some interesting times, but I do look forward to meeting each one of them in person. And I really like the environment of our Zooms so far. Everyone seems to be engaged and interested and wanting to be here. So that makes for a successful semester. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much. Bye.